We hear the term resilience and grit all the time, right? But do we know how to effectively move through the challenging times? And so today I'm going to define these concepts, but also look at approaches to support resilience. And also note that what we're going to talk about today requires focus and effort. I had a professor in grad school, Chris Peterson was his name. He used to say, well-being is not for the faint of heart, right? So we have to focus. All the tools that were brought today, I believe, bring that in. And we've also learned today how important positive emotion is and how harmful long-term stress can be. So resilience is really important to all of us. So resilience, as actually Eileen defined a little bit, it's the capacity to remain flexible and adaptable while facing life's challenges. We all face challenges. I also like to think, as Eileen said, it's the ability to bounce back, but there are processes to get there. We can't just skip it and go A to Z. I think about the metaphor of surfing when I'm thinking about resilience, right? The waves keep coming. Our job is to stay on the top. Sometimes we fall down and we get skinned, but we're still getting back up. So that's how I like to think about it. So then we look at grit. Grit is, I think, kind of misunderstood, but it really has two components. One is passion, which is based on a sense of purpose. And the other one is perseverance, which means sticking with one's mission, even when the going gets tough. It's the mindset that keeps you and helps you being resilient. You know, some people make the mistake of like, I'm just going to barrel through. That's not really grit. We have to really think about how this applies. So there's 4 key areas to build resilience. There are emotions, thoughts, behavior, and support. So if we first start with emotions, when we're facing a challenge, the first thing to do is to bring self-compassion and acceptance. I do this all the time. I forget that I'm in a situation and there are things surrounding me. I think I should be better at it. But no, just allow the feelings. And it's not always healthy just to forge ahead and not acknowledge and bring self-compassion. The second thing is checking your thoughts. What are you telling yourself, right? Are you bringing worry to the situation that's outside of your control? So I like to bring the approach that the Stoics brought to us, and their model can look like 3 concentric circles. What can I control? What can I influence? And what's out of my control? It really helps me to think and ground myself in this. Then I have many years of HR experience before I became a coach. And for you in HR, is it mine to own? Because we can take on the back of the entire business if we're not careful. Another way to think through this too is to think back on when you really did overcome obstacles in the past. So a history of resilience can silence self-doubt. And so once you know what you can control or influence, then you can clearly devise solutions and overcome obstacles. It keeps you in that out of that amygdala mind. So what behaviors can you engage in? As Kelly said, breathe. I forget to breathe. So that's a good one. Bringing mindfulness, journaling, or exercise to manage your stress, the physiological components of this challenge. And finally, support systems, relying on relationships and social networks for encouragement and assistance. I know I can kind of hunker down and not talk when I'm in a challenge, but really bringing in other people's perspective is really helpful. So I hope you remember these tools next time you face a challenge, and I thank you so much for having me.